On March 31st of 2019, rapper and activist named Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed in what appears to be a gang-related shooting. Nipsey was in the process of making a documentary about the late Dr. Sebi, which he believed would change the health game for everybody. Twitter and Facebook are blowing up right now with conspiracy theories thanks to some tweets from Nipsey himself. The last tweet he posted read, "Having strong enemies is a blessing," and was posted just 15 minutes before he was shot. There's a lot of questions being asked right now, but unfortunately they're all the wrong questions. What we should be asking is, who is Dr. Sebi? Dr. Sebi's original name was Alfredo Bowman, and he was born in Honduras on November 26th of 1933. He was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and when he was around 12, he decided school just wasn't for him, and instead, his goal was the pursuit of truth. When he was 20 years old, he left his country and moved to New Orleans to become a merchant seaman. 5 years later, he became a steam engineer and moved to Los Angeles. By the time he was 30, he was wearing prescription glasses, he had diabetes, asthma, sexual dysfunction, and weighed 291 pounds. One day he fell in the bathroom, and that's when he knew it was time to get help. He went and saw an endocrinologist, a neurologist, a geriatric practitioner, and all of the above, but no one had any answers. He was desperate and eventually ended up in Mexico, where he met a guy that would change his life forever. This man told him that he was dying because he was violating the laws of health. He said that he had been eating garbage for the last 30 years and that if he wanted to get better, he would have to fast for 90 days. Dr. Sebi thought this guy was crazy, but the guy pointed out that all he had been eating was trash. For example, when Dr. Sebi became impotent, the doctors told him to eat and drink eggs, and he drank them by the dozens. But of course, it didn't help. He pointed out that he ate the regular modern-day diet of milk, meats, starches, but yet he was so far from health, and that just made no sense to Dr. Sebi. I mean, shouldn't we be the most healthiest group of people to have ever lived? That's just not the case. So Dr. Sebi agreed to commit to the 90-day fast, and guess what happened? On day 27, he no longer had diabetes. On day 52, he was no longer impotent. And by the end of the 90-day fast, he no longer needed to wear glasses. This new discovery of health is what started his new life journey. He remembered what the Bible had said about using herbs as medicine, and he thought that there must be something more to the biblical health laws. He began his research and discovered that mucus was the cause of all disease. He discovered that the food we eat either causes mucus or it doesn't. He says there is two categories of food, one which is acidic and the second which is alkaline. He claims that anything on the acidic side causes mucus to build up, and that acidic food is not natural. For example, spinach and carrots are both acidic, and they were both domesticated around 2,000 years ago. This image here shows you the timeline of carrots and how they have changed over time. Even more interesting is that scientists say the genome of a plant will change over time due to the cultivation of the plant. So if you want any more information about hybridization and domestication, just check out my video, The History of GMOs. I'll leave that link below. Dr. Sebi then began his own practice in Honduras and called it the Abshire Research Institute. This place became famous for detoxifying the body and curing your health. He started to help people from all walks of life. For example, he helped Steven Seagal get rid of his headaches that had lasted over 5 years. He helped Michael Jackson, John Travolta, Eddie Murphy, and the list goes on and on. In the 80s, Dr. Sebi started to put out advertisements in the newspapers. As you can see, he claims to cure AIDS and other ailments all through diet alone. These newspaper ads got him in legal trouble, and he was prosecuted for practicing medicine without a license. His case went to the New York Supreme Court, and they asked him to get witnesses for his testimony. Dr. Sebi gathered 70 witnesses that he cured in the past, one witness for each ailment, and proved in court that he was not lying. The jury found him not guilty, and he won the case. A few years later, in 1993, the city of New York sued him for fraud, and he was banned from making and selling anything that claimed to cure people of disease. This is when he decided to move his practice to California. Once Dr. Sebi moved to California, he continued his practice of helping people with his miracle cures until one day in March of 2016, he was arrested for money laundering. He was arrested because he was carrying $37,000 cash onto a plane, but he was eventually let go. A couple months later, he was arrested again for money laundering. This time, he was carrying $50,000 cash onto a plane. He was held in a Honduran prison for 2 weeks when he suddenly became ill with pneumonia. He needed medical care, so the authorities decided to take him to the hospital. They put him in the ambulance, but he was dead before they arrived. Dr. Sebi died that day on August 6th of 2016. He was 82 years old and left behind 17 kids. This guy was once on the verge of death, but he turned that into a ripple of change that has saved thousands of lives. By the age of 12, he knew he was on a mission for truth, but don't forget, he didn't actually start that journey until he was in his late 30s. It is never too late to change the world, and it's definitely never too late to change your life. Today is a gift, so don't waste it. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll catch you guys next week.